And Mike, now that we get to sit down real quick, let's wrap all this up with a little bit more about yourself in the store. Like, I noticed it took me a while to put two and two together, but you used to work at another store, Third Planet.
Yeah, so that's all part of the mythology. So a long time ago in Torrance, there was a store called Third Planet, and that was hugely formative for me. That was huge. I went there when I was a kid, and I rode my bike down, and I found out that it was there, and it really just blew my head off with all the cool stuff that I had never seen before. Between the comics and the games and the miniature painting, and you know, I would spend any moment I had going down there and gaming, and that was when I was like 10 years old. And then years later, when I was a kid, I grew up still doing it all through high school, and then I would still go there fervently, like, you know, as a young man out of high school. And then the owner, a guy named Chris, was like, hey man, you're here all the time, I could use some help on the weekends. And I ended up working there. And I was like, I think about 19 or 20 at the time, and I was, you know, doing it on weekends because I had another gig in the week, and then it became a little bit more of him, more Third Planet than my other, you know, crap job at the time. And then I did that for a long time, and it was huge for me. It was a big experience, and it was always like, dude, if, you know, one day if I do good enough, maybe I'll have the opportunity to own my own spot, because I met all my friends there. I met everyone that I cared about was like, you know, in that sphere, and it was a huge part of my life, and obviously, you know, still is today. So it was so cool. And then unfortunately, you know, as things happen, after so many decades, that store changed hands once, and then I wasn't working there at the time. I was doing stuff out of college in Hollywood, and trying to pursue that portion of my life. And then I heard that it had another owner after that a few years later, and then that owner at some point was like, I'm done. He's done. This is about 15 years ago, I think, about now.
Yeah.
And he was like, I even went to him. I said, I want to try to get this from him. And he was like, I just want to liquidate it. He was moving out of state and whatever. And he just liquidated it, disappeared like that. And I'm from Redondo, which is right next to Torrance. And I was so like, dude, what? There's like nothing here now.
It was a hub.
Yeah.
There was no other gaming stores.
Nothing. There was some great shops like Jeffrey's Comics, the guys that do Comic Bug, you know, they had these great stores, but they didn't have
wargaming
and tabletop. It was, I mean, they have it, you know, but it wasn't like, that wasn't their game. You know, their game was these incredible comic stores. And I loved some of the other spots like Brookhurst down south, and then Game Empire in the Valley, and all these great stores. But I was like, dude, I'm way over here, and I can't bring myself to drive all the way up there when I want to hang out, or even if I just want to come and jib jab after work, you know. And finally, about, you know, 6 years ago, I guess now, 6-7 years ago, I found my courage, and I just said, it's never going to happen unless somebody makes it happen, and I have to do it. And so I was so busted up that part of me had been lost, you know, from my childhood, my adult life, my being a young man. And then I said, yeah, I have to do it. And that's why it's called Lost Planet. It's an homage to something that was very precious to me and very formative to me. And it's a place where we can all get lost and have fun, and you know, find some new friends at the same time.
And we keep harping on it, but community is what drives the tabletop gaming. Like this is what it's all about.
Dude, I wouldn't be anything without great people and a great community. And I am so blessed and lucky to have it all here and to have found it. And it's huge. It's huge. You can have a cool store, you put everything in the world you want in there, and you could polish it up. But if you don't have a great group of people and great dudes behind the counter, and just vibing with everybody and having the killer staff and just really caring about people, it doesn't mean anything, you know. And that to me is first and foremost, before professionalism, before profit, before anything. It's just making sure that when people are here, you feel like you're welcomed, you're respected, you're loved, you're cared about, and we're having fun together. You know, I know that sounds really hokey. I'm sorry for sounding like all gushy and gross. But honestly, like it's a big deal. I mean, dude, I moved to this location because we were only open for like a year and a half at our first like alpha store. And it was like, dude, it was like a third of the size of this. It was a meaningless nothing burger. And, you know, we moved here quickly because we were like, oh, wow, we need space. So we moved into this big facility. And I moved right before COVID. Like 2019, end of November, I was like, okay, we're trying really hard now. And then, less than 6 months later, they're like, here you go. You can't work. Shut the door.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn.
That sucked.
It was like a nightmare that I still don't know how I'll ever figure out. But I was only able to go forward, and I was only able to exist because I had people that were like, I want the store. I need the store. I love what you're doing. We love, the guys here and the crew, and the community provided me the opportunity to provide for them and to keep my doors open. Because everyone can get all this crap online. Like it's all crap, right? We can get it anywhere we want. But you come here because, hey, what's up, so-and-so? Hey, what's up? How you been, bro? What's going on? What are you guys busting out? And it's like, people want to come here. I got guys that they come from the Valley, they come from OC, they come up to spend their weekends here just to have fun because the people here are fun.
It's a catered experience.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, what kind of games do you like to play? Oh, hey, check this out. Or hey, check this out.
Honestly, it's the community is the most important thing to me, and doing right by them and trying to do right by them and always trying to learn from them and help grow for them and with them is very precious to me.
How, the first time I came into the store, I was wearing some metal shirt because you're a metalhead too. And then we started talking about bands and shows you went to. You're like, oh man, I went and saw this band, this time. And I was like, oh geez, you're old.
I'm getting there now. The white hair, it makes it worse and worse, but at least it's still up there for now.
No, but then we have that in common. And again, like we talked about it before, all of this stuff blends over, like heavy metal. As you can see, these are all nerdy themes.
It's all part of it. Hell, with Bolt Thrower.
Exactly. Right? Bolt Thrower, that's like all Warhammer art
all
and
that
everything.
Crazy stuff. It's too good. It's too good, man.
But I mean, running a specialty store like this, how has that been compared to with the rise of video games and everything? How do you still keep drawing people in? What do you do to build on the community?
I mean, honestly, it's just doing whatever, it's making sure that we're doing things here in person and having these meetups, having the availability, having the space, having, the amenities, and then saying what do you want to do? What's interesting to you? Have you checked this out? Oh, what? And then guys come, Mike, have you seen this game? And I'm like, whoa, no, I want to know, do you want to do it? I'll do it right now. I'll get everything we want. I'll get everything and we'll test it. I don't care. That to me, it's different than video games. Video games are, great. I got my arcade machine in the back for a reason. I still like the old school stuff, but it's different when you have the opportunity to come in and be shoulder to shoulder with somebody, working on a project, figuring it out and just jamming on it versus going hey, I'm gonna meet you online or I'm not, and being able to have a space that has that human connection, that social space that it's, it's like, it's going bowling, it's going golfing, you need other people, you need the environment, you want the walk of life, you want the change of scenery, and this kind of environment caters to those that want this kind of geekery, but they want it with other people in a physical space, and making sure that we do it and we promote it and also have stuff that's new and searching and then asking questions what is it? It doesn't always have to be this game or D&D or Warhammer. What are the other things? What's exciting? And making that happen is so important because it keeps people interested in it, and it makes sure that we're paying attention and we're not just getting stagnant on what we think is good. Oh, Warhammer is the only thing you should be playing, or you should only be playing D&D. No, that's bullcrap. And that is how you kind of compete against it, because we're kind of always making the community amoebic to the needs of the community. And, it just kind of feeds upon itself.
And we've touched on it a little bit earlier. You got a whole Discord server where people, if you're in the Southern California area, you ever want to come down and play some games, you can just join the Discord. We'll have that link down below and probably popping up right here.
Yeah, it'll be somewhere, maybe on my fat head to, cover it.
But if you want to just play games, and we've also talked about your demo games and stuff.
Yeah.
So those are always cool. Do you have a community calendar and everything?
It's all on Discord. We have our events on there. Calendars, sometimes they come and go.
It's loose.
I'm always trying to change based on what's going on. But the Discord is massive for us. It's just a great spot. People post their stuff on there, oh, look what I'm working on. Hell, everyone's telling, I'm on vacation. Look at some guys showing this dope barbecue he made. It's a cool scene of guys and gals that have been in our space. They're here And it's a great resource, especially if you're looking to connect with people
Mm-hmm.
that are in this, SoCal horn around, Long Beach to LA kind of area. They're coming here and we're hanging out. Join if you can, please.
Exactly. You've been around since the dawn of tabletop games,
Yeah,
pretty much.
I'm an old man now, I think.
Not trying to harp on you being old the whole time.
No, I have.
We're just trying to show your age without really saying it,
Yeah.
But how have you seen these games evolve? Do you think that they're in the best state they've been in?
Without a doubt. I mean, you want to talk about it on like a
Just a macro
yeah,
scale,
yeah. The evolutionary like layers of it is it's accessible. The visibility of it because of guys like you and people making content, of course, creates, this surge of interest, and also, the visibility. It's just like, hey, I can do this. I can go do this. I don't have to just watch it. It's out there. It's real. Other people are enjoying it. People that aren't, whatever you want to call them, the basement dwellers or whatever. It's a mainstream thing, and people like yourself are making content that makes people feel comfortable absorbing into it. Of course, the media has gotten attention to it, and now it's kind of working its way into movies and television and yada yada yada. But outside of that, the industry is being more progressive with content. They're being more progressive with the technology, the availability. The scale of production means that smaller press people can get their things made. And that's huge. Huge for a creator that says, hey, this is my love, my passion. I want to be a writer. I want to create this. And they can go and get stuff done without having to go, oh, hey, master 3 companies that control it. Can you let me participate? No, there's dudes I talk to at every convention I go to, whether it's as big as Gamma or as, chill as Strategicon. There's dudes making stuff, and it's cool because it's accessible, and the industry is making it more accessible for people to enjoy it how they want and to be a part of it. And as challenging as the industry is, that kind of evolution that is in a way like a removal of a gate, it's just opening it up. And I see that now with how many crazy things that are out there being enjoyed, because they don't have to come from all the big publishers. Even though the ones from the big publishers are dope, they don't always have to come from them.
Exactly.
And that is super incredible to see. And it's something that it's never been there in the past. It was never that way. Because back in the day, if it wasn't TSR, or if it wasn't Wizards of the Coast, it wasn't Games Workshop, what was it? It was nothing. It didn't exist. Nobody's touching it. So I love it. Bring everything out.
Yeah, we showcased some smaller games earlier, but what do you think some of the best games in the scene are right now? And let's start off with the most accessible.
I mean, obviously, your elephant in the room. They're the masters for a reason. You're talking about your Dungeons and Dragons. You're talking about your Magic the Gathering, your Pokemon. These are like the big tabletop games. And then if you want to move into the wargaming space, it's Warhammer. It's Warhammer 40,000. It's Age of Sigmar. They're massive for a reason because they're cool. They're great. They have the best models. They have the best products. They have the best art. They have the best story. So they're always kind of the juggernaut. Age of Sigmar is going to blow up a little bit here because of the new edition, which is going to be due out in a month that we chatted about earlier. Very much looking forward to that. 40K, it's only going to get crazier with the productions that are in the whispers right now happening just down the street in Culver. You're going to see a huge explosion of that, which is crazy because I already thought it was already big, and now it's going to go even gnarlier. And the same thing can be said about Magic. There's a lot of stuff that's shadowed with the details of what's going on with Magic's new show for Netflix, what's happening with Dungeons and Dragons and their secret plans, even though, there was some hubbub about the OGL and all that other crap. They still had all this stuff in plan for this year, for this anniversary. So you're going to see a lot coming out for these bigger juggernauts. Smaller dudes that are making moves, games that are great, anything from Atomic Mass, the guys that do Shatterpoint and Marvel, those games are phenomenal for a reason. Even though they are big IPs, Star Wars and Marvel, the games are solid. And now they've kind of had this really cool stride, and they've really become like a force, and it's really cool to see.
I mean, like you said, there's people just making games on their own right now, which is amazing. How do you think the pace of these games have been? I mean, more or less just like, do you think there's enough support? Do you think there's some things you're like, maybe they shouldn't be doing this with the rules set? Or has it been the best it's ever been with updates and constant FAQ stuff like that?
I think with the attention that comes from this explosion of interest, you have more attention to the details and the rules, and everything behind that portion of it is very important to people. And it's under a microscope now because there's so many more eyes on, and that is a multiple magnification. So when you have more thousands of people playing Warhammer, more thousands of people are going to have a stronger opinion about if your rules suck or not. So the pace is strong. I don't mind new additions. I don't mind FAQs. I don't mind change when it services the players, when it services the game. And I see more of that occurring because more eyes are on it. So I don't, like anyone else, I was like, oh, I don't want a new rule book. This is lame. I don't want to spend it. But I do, because I want it to work. And some people will say, oh, the rule book needing an FAQ, is it not working? And you shouldn't, make a new one. No, well, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. If I tell you I'm just fixing what you're telling me is messed up without making a new one for you, right, I'm damning myself, and then it's gonna just go down the line anyway. So I like it. I like the pace. I like the constant attention to the evolution of both the stories and the games and how we play them. And I understand they gotta make stuff that we buy. Otherwise, how do they get to keep doing it? So I see both demons. I see both. And I tend not to mind, because at the end of the road, I'm just trying to have a good time. So to me, it's all gravy. It's all good.
Hell. So what has been your favorite game to play of all time?
Ooh.
Is it either tabletop or wargaming?
It's so impossible because
you probably played every game under the sun.
Dude, I'm the pig in shit. It's not fair. It's an unfair question.
What do you keep coming back to? Like, you're just pick up and play whenever?
I think that the easy conversation is like, I could always play Magic. I mean, that's really like the one that was for me. Like, I was like, I was at grade school level, and I was like, oh, my cards, and but that's like almost like primordial, right? Like, I gotta drink water every day, so it doesn't feel like I'm going back to that because it's, it's less enchanting more than it is a necessity almost. But the one that was really, really special to me was always, I'll just say Warhammer, whether it be fantasy or 40K or what they call Age of Sigmar now. To me, that one's special because it's so rich in
the lore. Everything.
Yeah, and I can go beyond the lore with the breadcrumbs, and then up here,
you
my
can make
gears
your
turn,
own,
and it's
own
like
headspace and all that.
Dude,
yeah,
telling my own stories, making my own hero, and then I remember so fondly like poring over a model, building it, and then going like, what do I do to make it mine? And that was a huge part. Was like, okay, cool, this Marine looks cool, but what if I turn this? What if I change the head? And everyone knows about conversions and doing that.
Yeah,
but
kit
that
bashing,
kind of kit
stuff.
bashing, yeah. GW stuff, whether it's 40K, Age of Sigmar, fantasy, specialist games, having that kind of like primordial muck to play with, that's the best. That's the best for a reason.
Hell yeah. Gonna finish it all off with some card gaming stuff real quick. How do you feel Magic has been? Because me personally, that's overwhelming as can be, especially with the secret lair drops, all these special edition cards. Like, hell, all of these games are like designer games.
Yeah. No, dude, and I'm with you. I love it to death. Full disclosure. I own more Magic cards than any sensible person in the world should. And it's a business now. That being said, I am overwhelmed. It is a great product. There's obviously incredible design and thought and love going into this game that we've all enjoyed for decades. I'm overwhelmed. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. A set a month is a lot. Secret layers are cool. I actually like them because it gives people the opportunity to get cards. But when it's daisy chained with huge releases every month, now you're not saying that, hey, here's an opportunity to get some old school stuff with cool art. You're saying, well, do I rob Peter to pay Paul? Because this is coming out and this is coming out and this is coming out. And I appreciate the passion and enthusiasm for releases. And Lord knows this stupid business relies on them.
Seems like a lot.
Dude, it's a lot. If I had any message for it is like, hey, dude, polish it, pump the brakes. That's kind of where I'm at.
A little bit.
I think that after COVID especially, when the pace was increased, it takes away a little bit of the enchantment behind it. It takes away a little bit of the love. There's guys that are already worried about the next set sometimes.
Yeah.
When the set that's coming out is just in pre-release week. Like, guys are telling me about what they're talking about the next set, and this one that comes out next weekend isn't out until next weekend, and it pre-releases this weekend, and they're already worried about the next. It's like, what the hell are we doing? You know what I mean? It's frustrating because that's all from a positive energy. But when it's stretched out and it continues for that long, it becomes insurmountable. And that's where I feel, because it's not like anyone's gonna hate it and move away from it, because if it's in your heart and you enjoy it, it's there. But damn it if you want to be able to enjoy it and savor it for a little bit. You know, when you go to a steakhouse, you typically sit down. You know what I'm saying? You ever just eat one walking around?
Yeah, exactly.
A little rough.
Exactly.
You don't know, oh, gotta go to the next one. Like, you know, cutting it in my hand and out the freaking door. Like, it's different, and it feels like, dude, this is delicious. But why am I rushing on it? Why am I moving to the next one? Why am I getting another, you know, slab? Like, I don't understand. Slow down, please.
I mean, I haven't played the latest set, but it just seems to me, when I was keeping up with the standard edition, standard format of Magic,
Right.
they were like rushing out some of these sets without looking at some of these cards, and some of them were pretty broken.
Yeah, I mean...
And then, like, when are you banning cards right when they first come out? Like, the set's been out 2 weeks, you're already banning cards.
But design is always in a vacuum,
Yeah.
right? Like, I did a little bit of design for GW many moons ago, as well as for what was called Spartan Games at the time, and design's in a vacuum, man. So I'm not going to give them all the credit in the world for mistakes, but when you do this crap, it's like you're in the lab with your dudes, and you're testing, and then because of how you want to kind of keep the genie in the bottle, you're not throwing it out to hundreds of people, especially the public, right? So that's why sometimes it gets a little wonky, and you see it in every game. No one is perfect. Nothing will be perfect. Nothing, and I can't get too angry at it, because I know that a lot goes into it, and I understand the intent. You know, a crappy product is one thing, but crappy rules, I can understand the vacuum that creates them sometimes.
So, I mean, does that hit you? Say a set comes out that's been negatively received. Do you see that set not selling well?
Absolutely.
And that kind of burns you as a store owner.
Yeah, oh no, it's huge. I mean, Magic's margins are historically pathetic. I mean, you know, without getting into the real nitty gritty, it's rotten. You know, it's rotten. If it wasn't for the love and the passion and the community, fiscally, is it intelligent? No. If a set comes out and it's decried, mostly due to influencers, mostly due to online content and spoilers, which has become a poison pill in a lot of ways. I see it with 40K. I see it with, you know, other games. It doesn't just have to be cards, but with cards. Hey, this set's bad. Don't buy it. Everyone's like, I'm not paying for it. This is crap. Here's the 3 cards you want out of the set. The rest is just crap canned. And I'm thinking, holy crap.
Then you just have all this product you're sitting
and
on.
it's, you know, you get a gun held to your head for some of this distribution that says,
that's what I'm saying. Do you have to buy a minimum amount of boxes? And then again, when these boxes, you know, get shit on.
I can tell you right now, without all the gory details, that there was a lot of people in my field that took a real bath on Commander Masters last year, because some of those boxes were selling for, you know, 10 points under cost. And if you're selling at 10 points under cost on a place like TCG Player, which takes a 15% hit for selling it on there, you're saying guys were selling that product at a 25% loss to make a quarter of their money, or 3/4 of their money back because it wasn't selling. So that's like one, and that everyone knows that example, right? Like that happened last year. That was bad. And so it can really, really go south with one set, because when you order them, there's a gun to your head. Distributors are like, hey, you ordered this many boxes, you better deal. I don't give a crap about your feelings, because he's sitting there holding the, you know, getting the gun held to his head from WotC or whoever's selling to the distributor. So I understand. There's this rotten little line of understanding this business. I don't like it. And I think a lot of it is to be blamed on, you know, sometimes player expectations, and mostly, you know, these digital voices that I'm participating in. Telling.
I'm trying to keep. I like keeping everything from a neutral point. I
No,
don't like
but I'm just saying,
negative
like,
when it comes to those kind of things, because there's no point to it.
Nor have you ever. But
Yeah.
I think that the talking heads, right, we used to call news broadcasters,
Yeah.
have now turned into influencers, and they say like,
There's-
"Oh man, this set's BS.
Yeah, there's-
don't buy it." And then everyone that's watching these goes, "Okay, I won't."
Yeah.
Well, what if it's actually a good set? What if it's actually pretty down? You know?
I mean, I'm pretty sure we've seen it where a set's been trash talked, and all of a sudden, wait, this is coming out.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying Commander Master's price point was good because that was largely controlled by Wizards, making it more expensive. But fundamentally, that set was all gas. But if everyone says online, hey, it's bullshit, you shouldn't use this set or buy this set or participate in this set, even if it's expensive, it just kind of ruins it in the sense that now people won't get it, and then everyone's kind of screwed by it, even though it was actually a good set. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, I don't know. There's no right answer other than Magic is
It's
just
so people hold all these games so dear to their hearts,
Yeah.
where the fandom can get pretty like either ecstatic about something.
Right.
It could go both ways.
But with Magic, because of troubles at Wizards and the release schedule and some of the stuff that's been going on with it for a few years now, the volatility behind it is there, and it's really a bummer because like there's guys who come, I want to play Commander, hang out with my buddies. Like I said, I've been doing it since I was a kid. I don't want to see it get bad. So we're in this weird spot right now where the toxic waste that surrounds it is finally maybe getting noticed, and people are reacting to it. And I just hope that they're able to kind of part it away and find some clear water so we can kind of swim to a better patch.
I mean, at least for Warhammer and miniature games, if the sculpts are good, people are going to buy it. 'Cause
Right.
You can make your own rules no
Right.
matter what. Cards, it's hard. When
No, but in GW, man, you got certain websites that'll be like, hey, man, these are the units you buy from this book. And the other units will have dope
Yeah.
models, and guys will be like,
I like
no,
the model.
these are the ones, my
Yeah.
tournament winning list. You know, these dudes are the best. This other stuff is crap. And then all of a sudden, everyone's like, well, how come you don't like these other models? I can't sell them. Like, I don't really care. If it goes on the wall, it goes on the wall. I'm not busted up about it. But then everyone comes in and goes, I'm looking for these 3 things that I read about on this guy's blog or this guy's YouTube. And I'm like, man, that's crazy. There's like 30 units in that book, and you want 3?
Yeah.
You don't have to be a sheep, dude. You could just enjoy it because it's cool.
Yeah.
But
hey, that's what I want to do. I wanted to showcase all of this to everybody. And again, it's all about forming your own opinions. Like we have all this media playing. You'll see all these different models. Pick stuff up just because it looks cool and you want to paint it.
From Lost Planet.
Exactly, exactly. It's the Hypno Frog from Futurama just popping in, Buy now, buy now. Well, let's wrap this all up with, what do you think right now, if I want to get into tabletop gaming, whether it be cards or whether it be Warhammer, give me one easy to get into card game and fucking tabletop. Let's do that.
It's the easiest answer. You can play Commander because you'll play it anywhere. Anyone that's got a card shop ever will have Commander.
Any
play
specific
Magic.
decks or anything you'd recommend? Are there any of those 2-player decks?
No, just get a starter.
Starter.
Just get a low to the ground starter and just enjoy it, and then modify it if you want. If you were getting into it now with no knowledge, just get any Commander starter and just futz with it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to really play a game that has the same kind of accessibility and passion and exposure and availability, GW, you're the king. Play Warhammer 40K.
Do you think Kill Team or any of those smaller sets?
That's like a small bite.
Yeah.
Dude, no one's gonna eat one fry. Just play 40K or play Age of Sigmar.
Exactly.
Just get a whole order of fries for yourself. Get the whole meal.
Mike, I really appreciate
man.
you letting me come in and highlight your career in this and all your knowledge about all of this.
I'm honored, and I'm stoked to have somebody come in and make me use this internet thing. I don't.
Is there anything you want to touch on before we go? What do we got coming up for the store? Anything cool? Tournaments? All in the Discord? What do we got?
Discord and obviously our social medias, Lost Planet Games. There's always something fun going on, but we try to keep it old school. Just come in, hang out with us, have fun with us. There's always something fun happening.
Hell yeah. Again, if you're in the Southern California area or you want a good game store to come out to fly out to, they will take care of you. They will curate your specific gaming needs as well as show you whatever game you want and help you demo it too. You can come in, schedule a demo. They have a bunch of demo games for you to check out. There's plenty of starter sets, and they'll take care of you.
Thanks,
So,
Shane. Appreciate
hell yeah.
you, buddy.
Till next time, everybody. Later.